This morning, at the request of President Joe Biden, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, we know it as OSHA, issued an emergency temporary standard demanding that private companies with 100 or more employees mandate the COVID-19 vaccine for their workers. This will also apply to state and local government here in Indiana. Employers who don't adhere to the requirements could face penalties of up to $14,000 per violation, and tens of millions of Americans could lose their jobs if they don't comply with this excessive government overreach. This announcement by the Biden administration is particularly egregious to have during a time when our country is already dealing with not only a supply chain crisis, but we're dealing with inflation, we're dealing with an economic crisis, we're dealing with an immigration crisis, and we're also dealing with a lack of employment opportunities. This edict is unlikely to win the hearts and minds of Hoosiers or any Americans who don't want to be vaccinated. It will only drive further skepticism, and many Americans will simply leave the job market instead of complying. As I drive around the state of Indiana, I'm getting told this every single day, if not every couple of hours. When the President first announced this mandate on September 9th, I met with many of you, and I said at that time that I would do everything in my power as Indiana's Attorney General to protect our guaranteed liberty and our economy at the same time. Today I stand before you to tell you that I'm making good on that promise. From that day, my team and I have worked diligently on our legal strategy, preparing for this time, and we've worked extensively on our legal briefings to make sure that we were ready. So, Indiana will be challenging each of the 3 vaccine mandates in separate lawsuits. Most of these provisions kick in 30 days after tomorrow, but it is not yet clear how these violations will be enforced. Regardless, we plan on filing a lawsuit challenging the contractor mandate this afternoon. We will be filing a separate lawsuit against OSHA's mandate tomorrow once their rules are published, and we plan on filing a third lawsuit against the Medicaid mandate next week. We will, in doing this, also be joining other states, depending on the lawsuit, most likely at this time Louisiana and Mississippi, and we'll be joining those states in specifically challenging the contractor mandate and also the Medicaid mandate, and that'll be that separate third suit. A little bit more detail on these lawsuits. Regarding the OSHA emergency temporary standard, we're going to file our own lawsuit as the state of Indiana in the 7th Circuit. The OSHA statute has long detailed a process for us, our complainants, to go right to the appellate court. In our case, that'll be the 7th Circuit in Chicago. We'll be doing this lawsuit on our own. There'll be other lawsuits that are filed by other states on their own in their respective circuits. There'll be groups of states that come together and file as a group in different circuits. Indiana is going to do a standalone suit called a petition for review in the 7th Circuit. At that time, we're also going to be filing a complementary document called asking the court to stay the OSHA rule, to stop its enforcement. In that, we're pleased to have the cooperation of the Department of Labor, as well as expert witnesses who will file declarations in that stay to help the court make its decision. The second lawsuit is the federal contractor lawsuit that I discussed. So that's basically any person or entity that works for the federal government that is not a direct employee of the federal government. Frankly, it's still unclear as to exactly what a federal contractor includes, but it could be not only private businesses here in the state of Indiana, but it could be other state agencies. It could be our universities. We know that the Department of Defense, the NIH, has several contracts here in the state of Indiana, and we are still collecting that evidence. But we have enough evidence as of today, like I said, to join Louisiana and Mississippi in joining together to file suit against the federal contractor mandate. Now that mandate's based on an executive order that the President sent to the federal agencies to start asking the contractors who they have contracts with to change their contract to require their employees to have a vaccine mandate. The third lawsuit again. That's the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. They have an interim rule. It should be being published in the Federal Registry tomorrow. And that basically covers healthcare workers who deliver healthcare services where those services are covered by Medicaid and or Medicare. There, a vaccine would now be required. So we are looking for that rule, and we plan on engaging perhaps again with Louisiana and Mississippi to file a suit there. It's important, obviously, to know when you're filing these lawsuits to know exactly what the rule is and what it says, so we're waiting for its publication.